All right, so this is how you take the shaft out of the Coot. Luckily, Coot Tom explained it better to me than the manual did. Though once I found it in the manual, the page, it kind of makes sense. But anyways, regardless, this is how it works. So in order to take the shaft out, you've got to find the set screw on here. And it's pinned in place, so it's a little hard to get out. And I didn't see that because it was on the underside, so I had to lift the back of the Coot up so I could rotate the tires until I could see this part. So once you take the set screw out, then you can rotate this, and then it's like a little puzzle. There is a keyway, see right there? And then there's two keys that go inside of here, one here, and they're like this, that big. But the only way to get them out is to knock the keyway in this direction. So the idea is that this is where the keys come out, this little slot. But when it's turned, the keys can't come out, and then the set screw's in place. So you turn this so that it all lines up, and then you hammer in from this direction. And then it works a shaft out the back, and then see how there's the keyway slot here and here. This continues through, so I knock this all the way out, and as you push it forward, or back I should say, more keys are exposed. So you pop out the first one, there's only enough room to get out one, and then you push it further, and then you pop out the second one. This can be a little difficult because these shafts are old and there's all sorts of like corrosion and stuff on them, so it was a little hard getting it to the front. I'm sure it's gonna be hard getting it back. I use little neodymium magnets, and there's one stuck in there. I can get that out though when I get the shaft out to pull them out, because otherwise you can't really get anything in there. And now this freely rotates, well, assuming you get to still spin the wheels. So here's the crazier part though. How do you go to the next step, right? Because you push the shaft far enough back to get the keys out. But you can't actually push the shaft out this way. You run out of room. Like, there's only about 1.5 inches to the tub here, and you still need to remove another 5+ inches from the box. So you can't possibly pull the shaft out in this direction. That means you got to push it back in this direction. I was kind of hoping that you could just partially pull it out, and once the shaft was far enough back into this worm gear that this spacer would pop out, and then I could undo the bolts and leverage it and sort of like come out from the top at an angle. But I don't know what the deal is with this. I think this shaft, this collar, the spacer, in some manner is mounted to the inner raceway of these bearings or to the worm gear, because I got the shaft, it's like hairish, and I still can't, this thing doesn't go anywhere. So I'm going to have to reverse directions, because there's no way I can get the shaft to this part because I'll hit the tub. I've already been working on pushing it back, but that's the problem, you see. How do you push it back? From this end, it's easy. Well, it's easy. You can do it. You hit it really hard with like a dead blow hammer enough times, and you get it through. But now that you're here, what do? You can't fit a hammer anymore. I have spent over an hour just like doing this continuously over and over again to move it to where it is, and I've gotten to the point where there's like a piece of rust or a burr or something on the shaft, and my progress has halted. I mean, I could spend another 3 hours and I'm not even going to make it 1 millimeter. So I need to get this shaft back out without using hammer on this end. Well, that's going to be a problem. So I think I've devised a solution, and I will show that next. So this is my solution. I've taken the high lifter jack, and I've got it braced to one side with a pipe, so like a square tube, so the shaft can slide into that. On this end, I've welded together a vice clamp bar that fits in the end and slots through the hole for the ratcheting mechanism, and then that drops down and pushes against the back of the shaft, and in theory will push it out. I mean, I just pushed it just up a little bit using my hammer as a lever. I fit the full size handle because it will bump into this beam here. I only have one hand to show you this because I'm bracing this. It will fall. The whole unit will just like fall into the tub if I let go of it. This is really a two-person operation. Should be a little tricky with one person, but it should work. So yeah, I've turned the high lifter jack into a press, essentially a horizontal shaft press. But yeah, hey, tight spaces, got your power, it works.